Imagine if one day ambassadors and government officials all around the world decided to suddenly drop all other types and sources of energy to solely depend on solar power. So cars would only run on solar power, all our electricity and power would come from solar batteries, and we would have big black fields of solar panels absorbing solar power to be harnessed and used domestically. This is indeed a very good idea to combat the global issues at large, such as global warming and the greenhouse effect, but can this actually be a valid idea if it was a real life scenario? Before considering this idea, it is ideal to first know how solar power and energy works. Basically, to sum up pages of informational fact sheets on how it works, it ends up being a simple process like this. First, you install solar panels which are designed to be black to absorb the maximum amount of solar energy. Then you place these panels somewhere where they can often come into contact with sun rays. After this, you just leave it alone and let it do its thing. This thing, for those who are interested, is a series of processes conducted in a device known as an inverter, which converts direct current electricity harnessed by solar panels into alternating current, which is compatible with your household appliances. Now back to a hypothetical situation where solar energy is our main source of power. Perhaps many may think that this may result in something like an apocalypse where everybody rushes to the local stores to buy heaps of water and batteries and store up in preparation for the incoming doomsday. But studies in the past decade have indicated that we may actually live just like we are if fossil fuels did not exist and we continue to advance in technology and develop improvements and upgrades to our current solar power situation. Extensive research was conducted recently and the results show that solar power is actually quite strong and efficient in generating electricity. In fact, the Energy Collective website has drawn together an interesting graph to show how powerful it really is compared to other energy sources. The only issue holding people back was found not long ago, after a survey was conducted in America and Britain and concluded that a majority of people who consider moving into solar power are actually not used to adapting around it. So despite installation costs, it might actually come down to not being able to adapt to using this form of energy, as after all, we have already used non-renewable energy sources for hundreds of years. Now back to one of the most commonly used excuses of why people turn down solar power: the cost of initial installation. Just last month, a professor from the University of Newcastle in Australia developed an alternative solar paint that works exactly like solar panels. The invention involves the development of a completely printable organic solar cell dispersed in water, essentially creating a thick black paste that can be coated over large areas including on the side of buildings and directly onto rooftops. Now this invention is a direct advancement in the field of renewable energy, as it opens up so many different possibilities where we may actually be able to depend solely on solar power, especially if it's going to be only $100 per bucket and can cover 100 meters squared. On top of this, 3D solar panel printing was also trialled in America and Australia, and if the development is successful, we may actually see a future of all black rooftops and hugely slashed energy bills. Also in the last few months, countries around the world are slowly converting everyday items into solar power friendly technologies. In London, telephone boxes were painted green to celebrate the unveiling of solar powered phone charging stations that will be provided to the general public. The first 4-seater solar-powered car also took first place in the World Solar Challenge and completed a 3,000 journey from Darwin to Adelaide. Condor Energy has also promised a fully electric solar-powered assisted ute with fuel costs of only 1 cent per kilometer, whilst being able to top up to speeds of up to 140 kilometers an hour. Another cool advancement in solar technology recently can assist soldiers in recharging their equipment. Students from the Australian National University are working on a thin sheet of solar panels that could be worn over backpacks and weigh less than nothing. Although this advancement may promote warfare, it still can be manipulated and modified to assist the general public in some ways, such as charging devices on the go. It was originally designed to charge radios and communication systems for soldiers on duty, but this discovery can allow scientists to put solar panels to better use, as it allows the solar cells to be bent and literally weighs nothing when carried around. The solar energy acquired may allow users to store and transfer power from one another, and permits users to control when they want to use it. So in summary, all the previous information indicates that it is completely probable for us to be dependent on solar power. Since the sun will most likely exist for another 2 million years, we may as well expand around it, and to be precise, we are already evolving and expanding into an alternative solar paint and 3D printed solar panels to generate electricity for a cheaper price. It is only a matter of time before we declare ourselves an eco-friendly nation and an eco-friendly world, and studies are already showing that by 2050, solar power could be the largest source of energy.